Like most students, Deuce judges Epel by appearances and assumed he was a girl upon seeing him for the first time.
男子校なのに
He also assumes that Epel is from a real rich family, which is not the case.
飲み物だけをたくさん送ってくれるってエペルもすごいお坊ちゃまなんだな。え
In a vignette, he assumes that Epel would like flowers embroidered on his clothes. Epel says, I actually don't like floral patterns. When they discuss customizing their PE uniforms with dragons and tigers, Deuce is surprised, saying, I had no idea our tastes were so similar. I'm glad we got to talking today, and I never imagined you had a hot-blooded streak too. The embroidered dragons and tigers might be a reference to vintage Yankee fashion. In the guidebook, Yana says that Deuce will sometimes make expressions where you can see the Yankee influence, so this was probably intentional. For the curious, Yana is not saying that Deuce appears American. The Japanese language term Yankee is for a kind of subculture, the word adopted by kids and adults who want to look intimidating, prioritize having a good time over what other people think and rebel against the system in general. The term might come from the American word Yankee originally, possibly imported with post-war GI culture, but by now it is very much its own, independent thing. It is a great example of waseeigo, which is adopted English words that get assigned new meanings in Japanese. Other examples of waseeigo are ice candy for popsicles and the word Viking, which, in Japanese, is how we refer to a buffet. Yankee aesthetics have evolved over the years, with the clothes described by Deuce and Epel being kind of old-fashioned by now. Yankees can also be big on motorcycles, possibly tying into Deuce and Epel's love of blast cycles. With that comment from Yana and Deuce's reference to bleaching his hair, it is very likely that Deuce was a twist equivalent of a Yankee before deciding to rebrand himself. Deuce also owns a hot pink leopard print clothing item of some kind, so that seems to be his preferred aesthetic in general. Deuce and Epel technically meet for the first time at the end of Book 4 when they physically run into each other, but don't introduce themselves to one another until Book 5.
メインストリートでぶつかった。
あの日はごめんね。
いや、こっちこそ。確かエペルだったか？
なんで僕の名前を？
ジャックに聞いたんだ。二人は同じクラスだったよな。
うん。君たちは確かデュース君とエース君。
Grimm asks why Deuce keeps getting involved in arguments between Vil and Epel, and Deuce explains, I've seen something in Epel ever since we ran into him by the courtyard well. I think he and I are a lot alike. It's about wanting to change, but not being able to. Ace also comments that the two are similar during Halloween and his birthday, saying, I think on the inside, Epel's basically like Deuce. Deuce borrows a blast cycle to take Epel to a beach for a cathartic scream.
ここにお前を誘ったのは、もしかしたらお前も僕と同じなんじゃないかと思って、割りたくても変われなくて、じりじりしてる。そんな気がして。
うん。そうかもしれない。
This is the point where Deuce finally realizes that, while he'd had Epel pegged as a quiet, timid guy, he was very wrong. Deuce follows up with, I bet nobody in this school has you beat in the cuteness department, so he may still not fully understand Epel's position. It is common for Deuce to defend his friends at a moment's notice, and this applies to Epel as well. A group of unnamed and unseen strangers grab at Epel on the beach, and Deuce insists on taking responsibility for taking Epel off campus in the first place by handling the situation on his own. On JP, this leads to the first ever instance of Epel referring to Deuce without the son honorific.
Deuce!
We also see Deuce looking out for Epel during the New Year's event and Phantom Bride. The two also have a great interaction during New Year's, where Deuce teaches Epel how to take the best advantage of Sam's sale, and Epel invites Deuce to visit his hometown of Harveston to help the village with its apple sales. In an event that has not reached the English language server as of this video, Deuce takes Epel to visit his own hometown and to meet his mother.